Hi, my name's Kate from Cosmic, and I'm here to talk to you today about the technology trends that you hear about in the press and in the media, and to help you to understand that those aren't just for big businesses, they're for all of us. They're for small businesses, they're for micros, they're for sole traders too. And what I hope to do in the next 20 minutes is really get you to start thinking about those and thinking about how you can apply them to your business. This is a little diagram from the IT consultants, Gartner. And they brought this out last year to help us to start thinking about the 4 big trends, the 4 big things that are happening to businesses now. And actually they said that there has been no bigger impact on businesses since the Industrial Revolution of technology. Those 4 big trends are mobile, social, data, and cloud. So let's start with mobile. We all have smartphones. It's all part of our everyday lives now. Before we go any further, I just want to show you a little video that shows you some interesting statistics around mobile use now. We can also use our mobile phones in so many other ways. When mobile phones started, we used them obviously for calling people. We then started using text. We then started using them for email and web browsing. But now we're starting to use them for so many more things. Google and Apple and Microsoft, the key players in the smartphone market, want us now to start using them as our wallets as well. So they're starting to bring together apps that allow us to send and receive payments, but also places where we can hold our bank details, our credit card details, our debit card details, our loyalty cards and discount codes all into one space. So we can then, just through near-field communication, we can just show our phones, put in a PIN code, whatever we want to do with those, show our phones to a little sensor and pay for things at the same time. We can also take payments and receive payments using our mobile phones. Here's 2 products, here's Huddlebuy and Square Card, and both of these products allow us to receive credit and debit card payments from a card through our mobile phones. So long as you've got a 3G or a Wi-Fi connection, we can do that. PayPal have also brought one out that has a PIN pad as well that allows people to put their PIN code in. The exciting thing about this for me is that actually market traders, painter and decorators, anyone can take payment there and then. I've seen a painter and decorator using this where they've done the work and whilst they're in front of the client, have created an invoice from their invoicing app on their phone, have sent that to the client through email, and has then taken the payment straight away through Square Card. So what that's allowed that painter and decorator to do is cut the credit cycle into 0 days. Before, that would have been 30 or 60 day wait for that payment. It's now nothing. We can also now interface with our phones without having to type something in. I'm going to show you now how Google Voice works. So Google Voice allows us to interface with search by not having to type something in. So if I press on my microphone, I can ask it a question and Google will return search-based information. Okay Google, show me the nearest Italian restaurants.
Here are the listings for Italian restaurants within 0.8 miles.
And you can see that straight away all the Italian restaurants from where I'm based now are shown. But not only that, I can see the reviews, I can call straight away, or I can ask for directions. So integrated into that one command is a response that I can action straight away. That's really great for small businesses, particularly if you're geolocated. I'd also like to show you an app called Wikitude. Wikitude allows us to enter a place that we've never been before, a city or a town, and allows us to look at that city through the eyes of the databases that exist out there. So if I was coming to a new location and I wanted to go to an Italian restaurant, or if I wanted to go to a hotel, I can look at Wikitude and ask it that information, and it will show me the information using the camera. The other app I'd like to show you is an app called Aurasma. And this app allows us to use any printed material as a trigger for a video that exists on the internet. And the interesting thing about Aurasma is I think suddenly it makes print really relevant to the digital age. Because Aurasma, as we show our phone to the printed material, it turns into the video that you've asked it to turn into. And that video can have a fantastic call to action. The video can show us some really great customer engagement, some really great customer experience, and overlaid on that can be sharing to Facebook or Pinterest, and also a click to buy. So suddenly for me, any printed material, whether it's a brochure or a business card or a poster, can have an engagement into the digital world. So where's all this heading? Well, all of the technology I've shown you so far is coming together into what we call wearable technologies. This is smartwatches, this is glasses, this is whatever else is going to come next. And the databases that exist out there now will be integrated straight into these technologies. And obviously, where that's moving towards is the Google Glass environment, where we'll be able to say to our glass, okay Google, show me where the nearest Italian restaurant is, and it will pop up on our glasses and give us directions so that we can go directly to that place. So my question to you is, how are you using mobile in your business now? At a very basic level, what does your website look like in the mobile world? What does it look like on a tablet? What does it look like on a smartphone? Is it pinch and scroll, or actually does it give a customer a really good experience? How are you going to get into the world of augmented reality? Download Aurasma, have a play with another app called Blippar. Have a look at Wikitude. Start to look at all of those technologies and think, how can I engage as a business in the mobile world? The second trend I want to talk about is cloud. People ask all the time, what actually is cloud? Well, the easiest definition I think of cloud is actually, cloud is accessing data and software in a place that isn't your computer or your server. It's pulling from another location that you may not be aware of where the location is. And that's what the cloud is. So you can have emails stored in the cloud, you can have files stored in the cloud, your photographs might be stored in the cloud, you can use communication technology that's in the cloud. All of those sorts of things can be cloud-based now. The major benefit to businesses about using the cloud is the cost savings. In the old days when we were looking at technology, and particularly if you're a startup business, you had to invest an awful lot of money into your IT technology. You might have to purchase a server, you might have to purchase brand new software licenses for not just productivity software, but accountancy software or other software that's specific to your sector. Now with the advent of cloud, we can rent that stuff. So we can pay a monthly fee, and that monthly fee can depend on how many people we're employing at the time. So instead of having to buy 25 licenses because we need, sometimes we have 25 people in our business, we can buy them and shrink them down and up according to how many staff we have in the business at the time. So we've got cost savings in terms of capital costs, we've also got cost savings in terms of flexibility. Also, what people are finding using the cloud is that they don't have to replace their hardware so often, because we're not relying on the computer power that lives in our computers anymore, because we're pulling that computer power from the cloud. So what types of cloud softwares are there out there? Well, two of the main contenders we have at the moment is Office from Microsoft and Google Apps from Google. And these are two products that allow us to virtually run our business through them. So we have a fully enabled email system in Exchange and in Google Gmail, and they are both enterprise solutions. We don't need to patch our servers anymore, we don't need to host this, it's all hosted for us. They also contain productivity software. So we have the equivalent of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all of those things in one place, and it's always the most up-to-date version. So we don't have to buy updated versions. They also can store our files. So it's a file server. And we can have as much space as we want. In Google, it's called Google Drive. In Microsoft, it's called SharePoint or OneDrive. And both of those mean we can access our files on any device, whether we're connected to the internet or not. They also both contain communication places. So we can do video conferencing. In Google, that's Hangouts. In Microsoft, that's Link. We can use video conferencing within both of them and also messaging apps. So we can keep up to date with colleagues and with customers without having to use email. So all of those are available for both of those for monthly fees. And again, scale up, scale down according to your business needs. If we don't want to use those products, we can, in essence, create our own version. We like to call it pick and mix. So we could just try different products, see if they work for our business, see if they integrate with other products and use them. If we don't like them, we don't use them. Products like Capsule as a CRM system can integrate really well with an accountancy system. I've shown you here Xero. So that when you update your CRM system, it can update your accountancy system at the same time. It's up to you. So have a play with these products, see which suits you best as a business, and if they don't work, try something different. The third trend I want to talk to you about is social media. Now, social media at the moment means Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of those sorts of channels. We don't know if those channels will be the same channels in a few years' time. But the one thing we are certain about is that the concept of social media is here to stay. The concept that we broadcast and communicate online to friends, to customers, to staff will be here to stay. So I want to just share with you some of the trends in social media that I see happening at the moment. And the first one is around influence. This is around not just using your followers to broadcast information. This is about using other people's followers to broadcast information. And the example I've given you here is Tanya Burr, who is a tremendous success on YouTube. She has 1.7 million followers, subscribers on YouTube. And companies like Mulberry and others give her products. And so then she creates videos and shares those with her 1.7 million followers. So Mulberry and other brands are using her audience to get the message out. And I think that's really clever. And we can do this as small businesses too, because what we can do is talk to local people or people within our sector, maybe bloggers, maybe YouTubers, and see if they might be interested in our products or our services and leverage their audience to your message. The other thing that I think is quite interesting is around brand alignment. This is an old marketing concept, but something that we're starting to get to grips with in social media. And this is around the thought that actually we can say our brand is like this brand, whatever the brand is that you desire. And we can do this through creating case studies or editorial or interviews or something. And this helps your customers to understand your brand better. So the example I've given you here again is Mulberry saying, we want our brand to be aligned with brands that are handcrafted in Britain. Brands like Wedgwood, Aston Martin, brands like Macintosh. So what Mulberry did in this instance is commissioned some cups and saucers to be made by Wedgwood. And that's not the interesting bit. The interesting bit is they videoed the process. And the video went on YouTube and then has been shared and viewed by millions of people. So by doing that, Mulberry are saying we are aligning our brand to Wedgwood. We can do that too. So think about your sector. Think about people you admire in your sector. Maybe ask if you could do an interview with them. Maybe ask them if they would like to receive some information from you or they'd like to review your products. All of those sorts of things you can do. The third area that I think is interesting in social media at the moment is creating campaigns. These don't have to be expensive. The example I'm showing you here is the Australian Outback. And the Australian Outback Tourism Board started to realise that actually Australians weren't going on holiday internally into Australia, they go overseas. So what they thought they would do is create a campaign that started to ask Australians to make a pledge that for once in their life they will visit the Outback because it's central, it's core to Australia and the brand. And this campaign went viral. And what started to happen was that people pledged and then people booked a trip. And when they were on the trip, they tagged Outback Promise as part of their photographs, as part of their social media. And then what happened? When they got back, in the post, they received a t-shirt from the Tourism Commission saying, I kept my promise. More content because people took photographs of that and then they shared that amongst their social media and then other people pledged and other people visited. So it created a viral campaign that people then started to do what the Outback wanted them to do. We can do that too as small businesses. We can think of ways in which we could create campaigns that could encourage and excite our customers to do more with us. The other concept that I think is interesting is around customer support. We can use social media to help our customers become more self-serving. This example here is Sony Xperia, and Sony have created a YouTube channel that every video on there solves a problem for Sony Xperia users. So when somebody's got an issue, what's one of the first things they do? They Google the problem. What appears now is a YouTube video. People click on that video and they solve their problem themselves. What Sony Xperia have found is they've reduced their customer support, their customer call centre, because people access this first. So think about ways in which you could do that for your business as well. So the fourth trend I want to talk about is about information. And in here there's two distinct trends. The first is around the Internet of Things. When the internet started, the internet indexed text. It then went on to index images. We've just finished, or the internet has just finished, indexing people. Social media is an index of people. And what now we're starting to index is everything. By everything, I mean everything. Phones, cars, tables, chairs, lights, everything. And this is what we call the Internet of Things. The concept is you will be able to go home in the evening and you'll be able to know how far your dog's walked in the day, so whether they need to have a walk or not. You'll be able to see whether your plants need watering or not. And indeed, actually, if the weather forecast tomorrow predicts it's going to rain, so you don't need to water them. You'll be able to get a notification as you go past the supermarket to say, if you pop in here now, oh, and by the way, you've got 10 minutes spare because your train's been delayed. If you pop in now to the supermarket, you can buy some coriander here, it's on sale, because your carrots are going off in the fridge. So tonight you can make carrot and coriander soup. Here's the recipe. Oh, and by the way, all your family are home tonight, so make it for 6. So that to me is the true Internet of Things. It's bringing together lots of data from lots of other places and turning it into something that's useful for you. The second trend that sits around this is big data. The fact that now we have indexed so much stuff means that we've got so much more information. Do you know, in the last 2 years, we have created 90% of the data that lives on this planet, 90%. And that will be growing and growing as this goes forward. So I want you to start thinking about what data lives in your business. Because at the moment, as small businesses, what we're not very good at is turning that data into intelligence. We tend to keep it just as data. So think about where your data lives. The big businesses are doing this. The big businesses have now big data strategies. And they are starting to pull together the intelligence that lives in their business and creating predictive analytics. Tesco, for example, are doing this. So for 20% of their customers, they can predict the exact time, date, and spend within £10 of those customers. That 20% will soon be 30, 50, 80%. So that big data strategy for them is helping them to predict what we want as customers tomorrow on the shelves. Hewlett-Packard are doing a similar thing for staff. They are predicting the date that each member of staff will leave the business. That's helping them to rationalise their HR, their vacancy systems. It's helping them to understand training needs, and actually it's helping them to understand staff motivation. They reckon they've saved around $300 million in doing that. So the bigger businesses are investing in that data, moving data to intelligence piece. And my question to you is, what about your business? We all have data that lives in different places in the business. It might be you have web analytics, you might use Google Analytics. Your social media has lots of analytics and channels in there. You might have a CRM and there's lots of data in there. Your emails, that email box that overflows, has so much data in there about our customers, about sentiment, how they feel about us, about our customer care and support. And all of that can come together in big data. Now, what I want to share with you is the thought that at the moment we don't quite have an algorithm or a piece of software that sits over the top of that will help us to see that for real now. But I want you to start thinking about actually, where does the data lie in your business? How valuable is that? And keep it and store it in a way that very soon you'll be able to put a piece of software over the top of that will tell you and predict your customer behaviour. So I hope that you've learnt something in the last 20 minutes. I hope you've started to think about those areas of your business that you can maybe make very small changes to or very big changes to that will start to make you move towards a more technology-centric business. So think about cloud. Think about ways in which you could save money using cloud. Think about mobile. Think about ways in which you could make sure your website works well, that you can take payments, that you can start thinking about augmented reality. Think about social media and more intelligent ways that we can use social media to broadcast our messages out. And then think about that data piece. Think about the assets that you have in your business that's your data and how you can use that going forward. Thank you very much.